This is my final walkthrough and recording for replacing the left-hand multifunction switch on a 2018 Spyder. So this is the switch that we replaced. It was replaced because the reverse button was being very difficult to operate. Also, when I was downshifting manually, it would not downshift as easily as it used to do. So this had been going on for about 8 months. I had bought this part off of eBay, and I finally decided as part of my winter maintenance I was going to pull it apart and replace it. So in order to do this replacement, there's several steps. First thing is you have to take off the backside of your handlebars. There's 4 bolts that have to be removed to take those off. And then you have these 4 bolts to take off, and that lets you remove the whole left-hand switch and the handlebars. Now, of course, you have to do a few things on the cabling before you can remove those, but that's here. These are the bolts you're going to have to remove. Once you've taken this off, you can see the cabling for the left-hand multifunction switch, and you also see the smaller cable right there for your heated grip. Those run down through the handlebars and through the steering column on the bike. So now we're going to move inside. So inside, it's a little bit hard to see. Back here in this corner, you have a little catch, a little holding catch that the cabling runs through. So you need to pull the cabling out of that clip. The cabling runs down through the rubber grommet here in the steering column, so right there. And then it runs down the back side of this steering column. And then moving to the right-hand side of the Spyder, the cabling comes down through here. So the heated grip cable goes underneath that column right there and runs out to the right-hand side of the Spyder. The cabling for the multifunction switch runs down underneath the frame, comes underneath this area here, and then loops back this way. And you can have to manipulate it around, but you can see the cable. It comes down, and below where my pointer is at, there's the plug that you actually disconnect the plug and disconnect the cabling. So I'm going to bring it around this way. So the multifunction switch actually is right there at the end of this pointer. So the cabling that you're going to you see it comes underneath here, comes around and turns into this cabling right here. So you pull out this little gray clip, and then you just pull the clip back and it'll come out. The left-hand handlebar heater, plugs in right there. And the left-hand side is on this side, and the right-hand one is on this side. So that's where you had to plug this out, or take this out. You take it out by removing that little pincher right there, that little pinch clip. Just press it in, and then it will be able to fall down so that you can unplug it. Now you do need to unplug this pinch clip from the actual wiring clip. You have to it just slides off, but it's very difficult to get off on mine because of the age and the dust that was there. But it does slide off, and you need to do that in order to be able to slide up through the steering column and out through the handlebar once it's disconnected. Okay. Once you've disconnected here, the left-hand heater grip, and unplugged this, just follow and trace them out, pull the wires out slowly to get it through this way. Now, in order to get up through this column you're going to have to unpin the wiring on the left-hand multifunction switch. You do not have to unpin the wiring on the heated grip, but the left-hand multifunction switch, the connector will not fit through the steering column and will not fit out the handlebar side on the other. So you do have to unpin that. And I'll create a separate video on that part of unpinning that in just a moment.